Underwear
Light
on.
the fires.
All right, listen, the Bucs don't lose today, and I'm still mad about last week. What in the Aaron Rodgers is going on? Hey, listen, guys, I'm going to be busy this week. Did you see that Mississippi State is holding open tryouts for a kicker? I'm on my way. We finally have a full crew tonight, so buckle up, Buttercup. It's time to have some fun because this is the man event. We got Rip.
I knew you'd get it.
Studio.
That's right, Mr. Dutton.
Oh,
Tonight
yes.
is the long-awaited premiere of Yellowstone.
Man, this show can't get over fast enough.
Was it season 3?
No,
Yeah,
like
season
season
four.
4, I believe.
Season 4.
Season
I believe,
4.
yeah.
Season 4. If you remember last week, what happened there, TSG?
I don't know.
Man down. Hey, you mess with Rip. Boom. Bam. That's what happened.
There you go. That's what happens when you mess with Rip.
Yes, sir.
That's what, hey, listen, if you want to see a steak that Rip would eat, you need to go watch our camping by boat video and take a look at those steaks, because those are steaks that Rip would eat. And by the way, he'd cook them just that way too.
Oh, yes,
Hey,
absolutely. He eat them with his
Something tells me,
pocket
though,
knife, too.
Something tells me, though, that Rip isn't going to forget the salt and pepper. He's
He
probably
doesn't
going to
need salt
remember
and
the steak.
pepper.
He's going to remember the steak seasoning.
That was
Yeah.
a bad move.
Yeah. So, dude, I'm telling you, I am excited about Yellowstone. That is probably, in my opinion, right now, the best series on TV. I mean, it's been gone for at least a year right now. So
It's been a while, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm definitely excited about it. It's 8 o'clock tonight, so just in time to get out of here.
Yep.
So this episode of the Man Event brought to you by Paramount TV, home of Yellowstone, tonight at 8 o'clock. All right, boys, what is going on with Aaron Rodgers?
All right.
You got
Apparently
TSG?
TSG's gone. So
He just
Where'd he
he
go?
just booted himself.
listen, I just want to know, this guy, like, he can't stay out of bad news trouble, right? He is a cancer to this team the entire offseason. And Monday we find out he lands on the COVID list, but that's not the problem.
Right. So he's on the COVID exemption list, or not exemption, but COVID protocol list, where he has to miss today's game, in which they're losing, I believe, because he has COVID. And the belief is that he was already vaccinated, but he wasn't truly vaccinated. He was apparently going around telling everybody he was immunized via some other procedure that I just read the story before when we were in the green room, that the Packers okay. The Packer says, yeah, that's good enough. You're the same. So you don't have to follow the protocols.
Well, I would imagine from the Packers standpoint, with all of the trouble he caused them in the offseason and not wanting to cause another stink, they probably said whatever they had to say to have the NFL MVP on the field.
Yeah, maybe.
So are they just as culpable as Aaron Rodgers?
Probably. You know, here's my problem with it is not that the fact that he didn't get vaccinated. You know, I was listening to I watched the Fox pregame show, Terry Bradshaw and those guys, and they were ready to, you know, crucify this guy over this, saying that, you know, he's not a team player, he's not this. First of all, let's just settle this right here. Okay, football. Okay, yes, it's absolutely a team sport. These guys are together for 1 year. It's not like these guys are together for decades. Some of these guys are with each other for decades. I'd say, you know, every 3 or 4 years, there's probably at least a 50% turnover on any NFL team. Okay, so Aaron Rodgers is going to be with Aaron Rodgers for the rest of his life. If he wants to get vaccinated, get vaccinated. If he doesn't want to get vaccinated, I don't hate the guy for it, you know. And you know, I mean, these vaccines. I mean, right now, I mean, I don't want to get into the whole COVID thing, but they're not even protecting you from getting it. They're helping you get it over faster, but they're not stopping the spread of it right now. So my problem with Aaron Rodgers, though, is how he presented it to everybody. Yeah, you're right, Pooh Bear. He was asked that question earlier in the year, are you vaccinated? And his point-blank answer was, I'm immunized. Well, guess what? He's not immunized. Immunized means that you're are somehow immune to it. He's not immune to it. He was taking the cow pill, ivermectin. I don't even know how you say the thing, and it has to do with worms. It may actually have some benefit to it. I've seen, more mainline doctors, giving it some credence, over the last couple of weeks, but you're not immune. You're not vaccinated. You're just as susceptible as getting COVID as everyone else is at that point. So don't tell people that you're immune and leading them to believe that you're vaccinated, because any way you want to cut it, that's a lie in my book.
Yeah. Well, the bigger issue is that there's certain protocols in place by his employer and the employer's governing body, the NFL, that said, if you don't want to get vaccinated, that's fine. You don't have to, but here's certain guidelines and rules you're going to have to follow. We don't have to look any further than Buffalo with Cole Beasley, who is a wide receiver for the Bills, widely outspoken about the vaccine, was not going to get it. I'm assuming he still hasn't gotten it. But he's following the protocols to a T. He's wearing his mask. He's keeping socially distanced, just like the Bills and the NFL said. So it's either one or the other. You can either get vaccinated and do all these other things and don't follow these rules, or not get vaccinated and follow the rules that are put in place. But this gray area of trying to outsmart everybody because you think you're the next Jeopardy host didn't work. Now you're sick. He's probably not even, I don't think he's even symptomatic. He's not suffering from effects. But now he's going to cost his team possibly draft picks, possibly wins, possibly his I don't think he can be suspended, because all these penalties are designed to punish the team itself. So that was kind of the drive to get all the other teammates and team members to help facilitate following of the rules. And he just skirted them all like he's the
okay.
They don't apply to him.
To my knowledge, the NFL does not have a vaccination requirement, right?
Not for players. Not for players. Everybody else has to be vaccinated, not players.
Now, Chiefs' favorite league does. The NBA does.
Yeah, but they have rules. They may not have had a requirement, but they had rules if you didn't follow the suggestion.
Yes, correct. You had to. So you had a choice. You either become vaccinated, or you have to you have to test every day, or it's a lot of work.
They make it really tough for you.
Very tough for you. So he's using this as an excuse that they're like shaming you or creating a situation into which if you don't get vaccinated, it's so difficult to follow that it becomes a hassle. And that's what he was claiming. I'm going to tell you what, I watched his interview on the McAfee show, and he talked in circles. He's a salesman. He's a selfish dude. That right there, that interview right there myself, whether I had defended him in the past or thought that he may have gotten a bad rap in the past on things, that interview to me told me the feel that I've got it is that he's a liar. Okay. He's selfish. He'll do anything to protect himself. He's got a platform on the McAfee show because they're best buddies, where he can come out and he can try and change people's minds with his lies. But I also watched a show that Chief is talking about with Terry Bradshaw and those guys, and all of them, Jimmy said, I'm disappointed in his selfish actions. Howie said, possibly putting your teammates in jeopardy is selfish. Terry, let me give Rodgers some advice. It'd be nice if he came to the Naval Academy and learned how to be honest. All of those comments are talking about him lying. And that's what, that's what he is.
And I think, okay, so that's what I was kind of creeping up on. That was when I asked the question. The NFL doesn't have a vaccination requirement, because nobody's coming at the guy about the fact that, hey, there was a rule to get vaccinated and you didn't. They're coming at the guy for the way that he's handled this thing, and now he's acting like he's some sort of victim in this.
Yeah,
and I'm looking from my standpoint. This guy brought nothing but bad juju to the Packers all offseason. And then he brings this to the table. I I understand the guy was the league MVP last year, and they're 7-1 heading into today, right? They're playing good football. But I mean, what does this guy's future look like? Do you just keep letting this guy be a jerk because he's the NFL MVP?
Oh, he won't be with the Packers next season.
You know, do y'all know where he's getting his advice from? Have you heard who he's been consulting for this advice?
Yeah, supposedly he's like talked to these doctors and these virologists that are professionals.
Joe
He did
Rogan.
all this research. Yeah, Joe Rogan.
He's getting his advice from Joe Rogan. I said, I mean, last I checked, Joe Rogan didn't go to medical school, and I said, "Are you kidding me? You're getting this from Joe Rogan?
Yeah,
this is terrible." Hey, you know something else about this whole thing, right? You know, Aaron Rodgers has a way of coming out of things, unscathed, and the NFL has a policy that says, after you are positive for COVID, you don't have to be tested for 90 days, and that has to do with the fact that how long that the vaccine has like a residual in your body for a while, and whatever it is that even though you're no longer positive and cannot spread it to anybody else, you would still continue to test positive for, I guess, up to 90 days. So he's gonna skirt the system again. He's not going to get fined. He's not going to wind up in any serious trouble other than public opinion at this point.
Yeah. Well, he's definitely being tried in the court of public opinion.
Oh, yeah.
So what are the long-term ramifications for the Green Bay Packers?
Well,
right now they're 7-1, and they had home field advantage if you're the Green Bay Packers, that's a big deal. Keep on winning. Everyone has to come to Green Bay in January.
Everybody play in snow. Yeah.
Right. Now the Bucs did that last year pretty good, as I recall. But I don't want to do it twice. So yay for us.
And that's on the field right now. But we're talking about in 2022, they may lose draft picks due to this, due to him not following protocol. They could potentially have victories overturned due to this. So it's a bad situation. Yeah, they talked about this before the season started. They said you're going to have to do one of the two. Make sure all of your players are following the guidelines, or make sure all of your players are vaccinated. That's why there was a big rush for the Falcons and the Buccaneers to get 100% vaccinated. They don't have to worry about those rules.
Yep.
They don't have to worry about players wearing masks in the training facilities and the socially distance. The teams that don't have 100% vaccinations do. So therefore, in order to make this as difficult as possible and to encourage everyone to do what they want to do, which is 100% vaccinations, these are the rules in place. And if you get caught like they just did, and they can prove the Packers are culpable for not enforcing the rule on Rodgers, because like we've been talking about, he's the MVP, you got to have him on the field, then you could be punished with all these different penalties, including draft picks and victories.
And Aaron Rodgers is listening to Joe Rogan, who sells Alpha Brain on the internet. Oh my! Are you kidding me?
Well, hey, have y'all heard about the Halloween party that he went to? Aaron, not Joe Rogan, but Aaron Rodgers.
There were other players there.
Not only other players there, but there's video of it. I mean, it's not going to be something you're going to be able to talk about and talk his way out of. So,
does anybody know who the Packers play next week?
I can tell you in a second. Yeah, they are losing.
All right, All right, so they're losing pretty. They're behind to the Cardinals right now, which could look like a loss for them.
It was 14-0 last time I checked.
Yeah, so they're currently 7-1. They could end up 7-2 at the end of this week. They haven't had a bye week yet.
They're on a bye week next week.
All right, so he's going to miss one.
Seahawks.
Are you sure?
I'm looking right at it. Week 10. Seattle Seahawks, Green Bay Packers, November 14th.
Oh, there. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's a 4:00 game. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, Seattle's no pansy team. There's a chance that they could lose 2 games in a row because of this without having him in the lineup. So, to your point, like, what are the ramifications now? The ramifications now are, they could lose home field advantage. We're assuming they're going to make the playoffs, but they could lose home field advantage for the playoffs because of the 2 games they lose without Aaron Rodgers.
Well, he is eligible if he tests. Not going to test negative. If he's asymptomatic by Saturday, he's allowed to play on Sunday because it's a 10-day window, and he tested positive on Wednesday. So Saturday he comes out. So a week
Okay.
without practice at a minimum, let's put it that way, without being
Yeah.
with the guys and practicing, and he may be able to play Sunday.
Yeah. So, the funny thing is like we don't know what happens behind the scenes on any of these NFL teams. But Pooh Bear, you just said something about there's a likely chance that Aaron Rodgers will not be in a Green Bay uniform next season.
Mhm.
If the Packers organization knows who this guy truly is, by the way, this is the same cat who ran Brett Favre out of town.
Mm.
Right? And the TSG, you were talking about how selfish he is. He's upset that the Packers are not investing in the growth of the team. Like, he feels their opportunity is to win right now. He's probably right. But if they're looking at the future and they're going, he's not our quarterback of the future, why would we go all in on this when we're going to need to build the team down the road? That's the team without Aaron Rodgers. So the guy's kind of, what I'm saying is all of this stuff shooting himself in the foot?
No, because he's got enough talent. He's going to earn a contract with, New Orleans or Indianapolis or wherever he ends up signing next year, whoever needs a quarterback bad enough. That's he's already proven he's got a decade of performance to back that up. It's just a matter of, can you deal with his bull crap, of wanting to be GM and wanting to skirt the rules and all the problems he causes you to your team.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to have to decide, and his talent usually wins out.
Yeah, well, we'll see what this coming week holds for the Green Bay Packers and Mr. Aaron Rodgers. Okay, so switching gears a little bit, Odell Beckham Jr. released this week. Where do you guys see him landing? What teams need, and is he still an elite wide receiver?
He hasn't been elite in a minute. And the team that needs him is the Cleveland Browns. He's given up on them. That's a joke. So anywhere but Tampa Bay. We do not need him in Tampa Bay. Stay away, OBJ. We probably, I don't think they have a cap room anyway. So I'm fine with him landing anywhere but here.
So unless they turn him into a cornerback, like Belichick would do with some of these talented guys, and be creative, we don't need him. But what we don't want happening is him going to the Saints and helping Simeon or Hill or one of those quarterbacks to beat us. Now, he's not played well with the Cleveland Browns, but he also hasn't had a quarterback that really throws that well to him and kind of does what he does. It'll throw it up to him like Manning did, and some, so he also has dropped some passes this year at Cleveland Browns, some big passes. And so he hasn't lived up to his part of the deal. And I think he's frustrated because he's not getting as many targets as he wants. He's whining and he's out. So I don't know who's going to want him, but somebody is going to take him and give him a chance. And hopefully it's not a competitor like Green Bay or the Saints. That's the only thing I don't want to happen, and him come back and,
What about the LA Rams? So they gave, after him asking for it, Deshaun Jackson his release this week.
Yeah.
I don't know where Deshaun Jackson thinks he's going to play. But
maybe going to Cleveland.
But they got room for a third wide receiver apparently.
Yeah, I don't know. It just my whole thing with OBJ is he has made an entire living off of one catch about a dozen years ago. And everyone thinks that he's still that guy, and he's not. I'm sorry. The wide receiver position is too demanding.
Eli still thinks so.
Probably. He may talk about it tomorrow night during their show on Monday Night Football. So I just he hasn't been a realistic threat in quite some time. I'm not too concerned about where he lands.
Or I guess the other thing is he land, him and Deshaun Jackson, do they land anywhere at all? I mean, look, Cam Newton's still looking for a job.
Yeah. Newton.
And by the way, there's plenty of jobs out there. That's how bad teams don't want Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carolina would probably want to have him back right now because Sam Darnold is not doing so well. So, hey, Vegas may be a spot for him. They unfortunately had to, due to the tragic event, they had to get rid of a receiver this week. So that might be a place for either of those receivers.
Dude, Pooh Bear, how does stuff like that still happen?
I don't know. It's so sad when we live in a day and age not only of Uber and Lyft and anybody and any other number of car services. He has the means. I mean, he's a second year guy. He's got plenty of money. He was driving a $120,000 Corvette, one of the new C8 models, at 160 miles an hour. Not to mention every single professional team going down to the soccer team for the Tampa Bay Rowdies has some sort of car service where they're on standby. All you have to do is when you're leaving your event, say, hey, I need somebody to come get me. I can't drive. They will take you home safe and sound. They will probably deliver your vehicle home for you on a flatbed trailer. I mean, we're not talking about, it's a pain in the butt to get stuff towed and to wait on a car and, you don't have your things and all that stuff, but you killed a woman. I mean, it could have been 2 people. It could have been 4 people.
It doesn't,
and I don't know I think his passenger's still in the hospital. It's just so sad and unnecessary.
Yeah.
These teams go further with these players. If you remember, Derek Brooks was a mentor to, God, it's slipping my mind right now.
I know who you're talking about.
Yes. But the point is, I mean, it's not as though they don't know who to call. I mean, if it happened, if Derek Brooks was your mentor on the Buccaneers, you could have picked up the phone and called that man. I guarantee you he has someone out there that is his mentor on that team as a young man, because, I mean, it's not just the social aspect of it. I mean, it's the money, it's the business end of it. They've got guys in position for success, because when they succeed, the team succeeds. I'd be willing to bet anything. They had everything in line, just like you're saying, Pooh Bear, for his success, and he just ignored all of it.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I mean,
everybody knows when you've been drinking, you're not.
You make bad decisions. Yeah,
absolutely right. I don't doubt for a second that he probably would have, had he been a little more lucid, thought, hey, maybe I should call somebody. Clearly, he was past that point. But you weren't around somebody else. Whatever event you're at, whatever restaurant you're at, somebody didn't look at you and say, "Hey, man, not tonight. Let me get somebody for you."
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He was texting Derek Carr, his quarterback, just a few hours earlier, talking about golf swings. You telling me you couldn't have texted Derek Carr and he wouldn't have come got you, or sent somebody for you? It's just so senseless and sad.
Yeah. It truly is. So I mentioned in the beginning of the show that, hey, we don't lose today. Congratulations to the Buccaneers on being undefeated today with the bye week. But some good things happened around the league for us, right? So the Packers are currently losing. That would be good for us. The Cowboys lose. By the way, I don't know. Maybe I'm not paying attention, but the Cowboys' only loss of the whole season was to the Buccaneers in Week 1 until today.
And the Broncos, yep.
And mediocre team in the Broncos take them down.
Was that at Dallas? I think that game was in Dallas.
I think that game was in Dallas. Yeah. And Atlanta does us a favor and beats New Orleans, right? So we had talked about that. Like if New Orleans had won today, we would be tied to have the best record in the NFC South.
Yeah.
And the Jags got a W today. Everybody gets a win today.
Man.
Hey, so the Cardinals did win, so they're a 7-1 team, and the only other 7-1 team left are the Rams.
Yep.
And at 7-1, the Rams, they play tonight. So I mean, here's fingers crossed. That the Rams lose. Kind of a crazy weekend in sports altogether. So we had some upsets in college football. I think we're gonna get to that in a little bit. But
we're gonna get to that in a little bit. Yeah. All right. So hey, speaking of getting to something, let's get to fantasy football. Pooh Bear, Kato.
Stand by. Gotta get to the doodad, the good stuff over here.
This guy's killing.
You're a wizard, Harry.
I just realized what that was.
Congratulations, Chief.
Oh, the lone survivor.
Hey,
The lone survivor.
sometimes you just get lucky. In all honesty, man. I mean, well, someone I don't want to. Go ahead, guys. I'm going to blast it past in the positive comments.
Brady.
Oh
I
my
think he
gosh.
is talking to Tom.
I think TSG talking to Tom Brady.
I don't know.
Anyways, the
Were you
Chief
getting
is the lone survivor in the man event fantasy football. He's got his own
Survivor
league. This guy's got his own in the man event survivor league. You know what's crazy is as many people as we had in that league that it only took 9 weeks to get to an eventual champion.
Dude, no, honestly, I think 9 weeks is a long time for a
I
Survivor
thought
League.
so too. I thought it would be over like in 4 weeks.
Yeah. So
especially since I was out week 1. I figured
the good news for us is we don't have to send anybody a care package for winning our league.
You're upsetting Jeremy.
We save a little bit of money, you know.
No, listen, I'll tell you what, man. I'll tell you what. Jeremy gives us his contact information. I'm going to get him a man event shirt because he stayed strong for 9 solid weeks. And I'm going to tell you this, okay? So I had Thursday night, I'm looking at what I have left on the board, and it's not awesome for me. And up until kickoff, I was thinking about switching my team to the Jets over the Colts. I mean, right now it seems like a no-brainer, you know, but I mean, the Jets came off a good win. The Colts, you know, losing record. I was like, I don't know about this, you know. So I decided to, you know, stay with the Colts. It worked out for me. Jeremy went with the majority. I mean, everyone else, I was like almost a 30% of Survivor picks put in this week, picked Dallas. So I think there's a lot of leagues that are winding down this week. And, you know, I mean, statistics say, you know, Jeremy should still be in it, you know, unlucky for him. But if Jeremy gives us his contact information, I'll make sure he gets a shirt.
Yeah, Jeremy, reach out to us on Facebook or Instagram Messenger. Yeah, hit us up on a direct message. We've got Twitter, we've got Instagram, Facebook Messenger, any of those.
And we even have a TikTok, y'all.
We've got TikTok.
Who knew?
Y'all.
Who knew we had
over 900 subscribers?
Me and TSG knew.
I don't know. Is that a lot? Is that a lot for TikTok?
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's more than YouTube. But yeah, reach out to us. We'll get you a second place care package because you did well, lasted 9 weeks. Again, that's longer than most of us, except for the Chiefs. So.
Yeah, because you were first loser.
Hey, whoa. Wow. No need to drag me through the mud here.
All right. So how do we do on last week's picks?
Well, another good week for the Chief. By the way, good week for the Chief also means good week for B-Love. Because as we know, he waits till I make my picks.
Hey, listen, in fairness, I did make a couple of picks last week before you.
We'll have to roll the footage. But anyway, here we go.
Go back and roll the footage.
Week 9, we had the Browns versus the Bengals. Myself and B-Love came in strong, picking the Browns. Pooh Bear had the Bengals. Yeah. And then we've already talked about the Jets and the Colts. All three of us picked the Colts, you know. And matter of fact, everyone was I know I had some content. I was wavering on Thursday night, but we were all pretty solid about the Colts winning or the Jets not winning 2 in a row. Put it that way. So all three of us get a point there. The Vikings versus the Ravens. This game went to overtime. But in the end, good news. B-Love and Chief, wound up winning. Pooh Bear.
I think I remember specifically saying, I'll pick the Vikings just to be different.
You did, but you picked the Vikings anyway. So you did. Hey, and guess what, guys? Yeah, guess what? TSG, who picked the Jags on all 3 games, gets a point because even the Jags won this week.
Well done,
my gosh.
TSG.
Thank you very much.
Did you see how horrible that they played, though, to win that game? Like, that kicker
9
missed
points.
like 3 or 4 field goals.
But they got
Who knows
9
how many
points.
picks Trevor Lawrence threw, but they won a 9-6 game. No touchdowns in that game.
Against the Bills. I mean, the Bills are – so we talked about survival. I picked the Bills week 1 to beat the Steelers, and they played absolutely abysmal in that game as well. So maybe the Bills just have it in them. Like every 6 or 8 weeks, they just come out and lay an egg like they did today in week 1. Because other than that, they've been playing very well.
Yeah. All right, so what do we got up this week? What are we picking? Listen, TSG gets a fair shot this week. He's actually here to make his picks.
Well, let's let him go first.
So the first one up is the Falcons versus the Cowboys. TSG, what you got?
Cowboys.
Jaguars.
You know, Tom, he has expressed to me that he really doesn't like how I'm being treated on this show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we've been talking back and forth, and he's giving me some ideas.
Hey, well, listen, Tom, if you want to be on the show, you're more than welcome.
Yes, anytime.
He's right
Anytime.
here. Right here.
You want to come, Tom? You want to come give us your opinion? We got a spot for you.
There you go.
Yep, right there in the bottom left.
Yeah.
Oh,
We
good.
got-
Hang on. I think
All
he's got a little.
So TSG said Jaguars.
No!
he said,
Cowboys!
All right, I too
All right,
shall
so
take the Cowboys. I think Dak and them are going to be a little angry about their loss today to the Broncos, and they're going to take it out on the Falcons.
Yeah, I think despite the win that the Falcons got today against New Orleans, that I just think Cowboys are too good of a team. I don't think that Atlanta gets lucky 2 weeks in a row, and I got the Cowboys as well.
yeah, I want to go with the Falcons just because everybody else went Cowboys, but I mean,
That doesn't work out.
I know it didn't work for Pooh Bear last week. I'm not going to fall into that trap. I really was hoping someone was going to take the Falcons off to win this week, but no. So, yeah, I'm going to go Cowboys as well.
All right, so next game, Pooh Bear, I'm going to have you go first. It's the Bills versus the Jets.
I just admonished the Bills for their poor play. We know the Jets are absolutely awful with Mike White at the helm. Oh, man. It's in New York. Well, of course, the Bills
This
play in
one's
New
kind
York.
of a toss-up.
I'm going to say the Bills come back, rally. Like I said, they played terrible that first week, and they played well ever since then, except for today. So I'm going to say they've just got a every 8 weeks to do bad. Bills, count it.
All right, so you're going to take the Bills. All right,
Lock it
TSG, who do you got, TSG?
Da Bells.
The
Da Bells.
Okay. And Chief, I'm going to wait for you to make your pick before I decide.
I know you are, man. So here we go, guys. I'm going to tell you right now, the Bills like to run the football. The Jets have a really good defensive line. I'm going Jets. Jets, Jets.
Jets, Jets.
All right, B11.
That's a bold move.
Now
That's a bold move, Rip.
Yep, there it is. Right there it is.
Strategy, Cotton. Let's see what pays off.
All right, I am actually not going to go with the Chief on this.
What?
I'm going to listen. They might have a great defensive line. Who knows? But they're not going to beat the Jets. Are not going to beat the Bills.
Okay.
Fair enough.
It ain't going to happen. All
Game
right,
3.
The Saints and the Titans. Chief, who you got?
So the Saints, look, they don't have a quarterback, and Simeon, for whatever it is, Taysom Hill, they're going to fall into this trap of bringing two quarterbacks in. No one ever gets into a rhythm. They played the Falcons, well today, but they're going to lose again. I'm going to go Titans.
Man, that quarterback problem didn't seem to stop him against the Buccaneers.
As you know, the Bucs have a history of making any second string quarterback look like a
Yes,
world
they do.
champion.
Any
right?
rookie, anybody, yes.
Man, well, I'm going to go
All right.
with the Saints. I think they're going to travel well. They're going to figure it out, and they're going to run the ball with Kamara against the Titans, who have not been playing very well. They don't have Derrick Henry anymore. Trying to get it done with Adrian Peterson. How about that?
AP all day. All right, TSG, who are you going to go with?
Unfortunately, I got to go with the Saints. The Titans lost their running back. They're done. I don't see them, making it without Derrick Henry. So I do think the Saints have a good enough coach, and if they can figure out somehow to make these quarterbacks work, Simeon or Hill, you got to remember Hill had a nice run last year. So I think they have a good enough team that they can win, despite their issues.
All right, so I'm going to make a pick, but I'm going to do it for a different reason. So I'm going to go with the Saints. And the reason I'm going to go with the Saints is I'm going to imagine that as much of a Saints fan as wife of Chief is, that things go pretty well for him if the Saints win. So I'm putting my favor with the Saints.
All right, so once again, I'm lone wolfing it here. I'm the only one to have strayed from the pack. I've got the Jets and the Titans. Everyone else is, and then we all pick the Cowboys. All right.
I like it.
So,
all right, good deal. So as we kind of round up our discussion here about football, we got the Bucs playing this coming Sunday against the Washington football team. And we all know how this team played after the bye week last week. And I think that Washington's about to run into a buzzsaw. They're going to come off – the Bucs are going to get Gronk back. I'm sorry, not Gronk back, but they're going to get the Speedy Gonzalez back, as well as the cornerback, Murphy Bunting, back this week. They're coming out of the bye week, and they're coming off of a loss that they didn't expect. I think that Washington is in for a long night.
They are getting their Gronk back.
So the Gronk will be back. I didn't know if that was confirmed or not.
I watched that on the Gronk show with all the Gronk brothers.
Listen, by the way, the last time the Buccaneers played the Washington football team, we celebrated with a smorgasbord of tacos.
Half of which
I almost feel like I don't even know who has football this week, but I feel like they have to serve tacos.
Wow. That's a bold strategy, Cotton.
Oh, who doesn't like tacos?
I'm not.
Chef Hobby, no cheese. No cheese.
No cheese.
No cheese.
On the ground.
All right, so moving on. It's been a long time coming, but congratulations to the Atlanta Braves on their World Series victory. Go ahead.
There it is. They did the baseball world a favor by beating the Trastros.
Oh,
well done.
I can't stand those guys. The fact that they even played in the World Series.
So upsetting.
So what are you looking forward to most in the baseball offseason?
Spring training. I love spring training.
Man, it's been a long time since we've taken a trip for spring training.
We need to make it happen this year, man. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's been a long time. It's been a long time.
Make it happen.
Well, things should start heating up. Teams are already picking up or not picking up options. I know you guys probably saw that the Rays picked up the option on Mike Zunino, just like we expected to take place. And they picked up another couple of options, even on some guys that are not necessarily on the 40-man roster. But things should start to shape up there pretty quickly. And we'll see how free agency, the hot stove, is heating up.
Yeah. I'm a little disappointed in the Braves. They did not have any boats in their parade. It was a lot of double-decker buses and semi-trucks. Not a single boat. I thought we kind of, led by example. The past, 4 or 5 parades here have all been boat parades. Hey, whatever. That's our thing. You can't have it. You get your Peachtree Street and Coca-Cola. We'll take the boat parades.
Yeah, the zoo, the aquarium, the varsity.
Oh man!
All right, TSG. We haven't had a conversation about the Tampa Bay Lightning in a couple of weeks. Where are we at, man? How's the team doing?
Team's doing okay. They're third in the Atlantic Division, and they started off slow, as a lot of people know. They were looking kind of rough. They're getting better. They're tightening up their defense. They're playing a little bit better. They certainly have a decent record behind Toronto and the Florida Panthers. The Florida Panthers are 10-0-1. These guys
haven't lost yet.
They're hungry. They've only had one overtime loss, not a regular loss. So these guys are legit. They're hungry, and they don't even have a coach. Okay, they're talking about getting John Tortorella in there, but who knows what's going to happen for them. But these boys are hungry. They're playing really well. Carolina Hurricanes in their division are number 1 with a very close record to the Florida Panthers. And we did beat the Carolina Hurricanes. We gave them a season loss. And finally, the Lightning have won a couple of games at home. I was there for one of them. Thank God, because I thought I was going to be the curse.
Dude, I was going to say, finally. I don't think you've been to a game that we've won yet.
Finally, Tina and I went. I didn't wear my Lightning jersey with the Geiger name on the back. I wore my hoodie, and we won. So now Tina says I'm not allowed to wear my jersey. I have this really nice jersey with Geiger on the back of it, TSG, and apparently I can't wear it anymore. But in bigger news, Sergachev hit. He made a hit. He's been suspended for 2 games without pay for his hit on Toronto's Mitch Marner, which was pretty gnarly hit right to the head.
It was. He deserved it.
He did deserve.
Cougar.
I'll tell you what, Sergachev has not played up to expectations this year. I mean, people are talking about him in 2 years being probably one of the best defensive players in the league, taking over for Hedman, when maybe he slows down. But this year he's a lazy player to me. He's not playing like he normally does, not thinking with his head. A guy that needs to recenter and focus and begin to play better again. I know it's hard. These guys have been in 2 championships. There's a hangover. But our leaders are, as normal, Captain Stamkos, Hedman, and Killorn. 3 senior players.
Killorn's had a great start.
Yes. Fantastic. Playing very well. Ross Colton, our NASCAR guy, has not really done much this year. We're hoping that, I don't know if it's the line he's playing on or the position that he's playing or what he's being asked to do. I'm not sure, but he's not been the Ross Colton that we saw last year. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
No, I think it's evident. They lost the entire third line. Fourth line has been changed up. So they're still trying to figure out, which players play best together. There's a lot of chemistry that happens on the ice. You've got a lot of unspoken calls for the puck. You've got a lot of, characteristics and, positions. You're in a different position looking for a different guy. So it takes time. Nobody's played more hockey than the Lightning have over the past 18 months, 2 years. So it's just a matter of, coming together. I have no doubt they will. They're still missing Kucherov, who's injured. I think that's one of Sergachev's problems is, having that countryman, right? Those are both Russians along with Vasilevsky. All 3 of those are Russians. Not having that that camaraderie together, I think it kind of hurts them a little bit, even though, Sergachev's a blue liner, but still having that voice on the boards for you. So I don't know. I'm not worried about it. They're going to figure it out, but you're right. 3 very dangerous teams. 2 of the last 3 opponents the Lightnings have faced in the playoffs, aside from the Islanders, were the Hurricanes and the Panthers, both of which are playing very well and in their conference. So that's going to be a very tough road to hoe with both those teams in their conference for the Lightning.
Yeah, and Kucherov is out 8 to 10 weeks, and there's something to be said about hunger. Chief, we've watched the Bucs and we've watched different teams in our area, the Rays. What is the difference between teams that have won championships and the teams that have that haven't gotten it, and they want it so bad, and that hunger? What do you think?
Well, it definitely adds a drive to them, and it sets a goal. It's kind of like, it just gives them a target. Let's put it that way. I mean, that's probably the best way I can put it. It gives them a target, gives them a goal. They have as a team. Now they are focused on something. They're like, hey, we're going to beat these guys, as opposed to the winners who just beat everybody. They're kind of looking at everyone because everyone, is coming at them.
Yeah. B-Love. Yeah. What do you think?
So my thing is there's a lot of changes that went on with this club in the offseason. And a great coach is going to figure out a scheme and a system that works for the players that he has. So with that in mind, there are probably some subtle things that they have changed about the way that they either defend or play offense. And this team, to some of y'all's point, hasn't quite figured it out yet. If the scheme and the strategy is right and the team buys into it, they certainly have the talent. But you've got to adapt to the players that you have on the roster to move forward. And this team had some significant change. They lost some players to free agency. They lost a pretty substantial piece in the expansion draft. And I think too, like Pooh Bear, these guys are probably tired. They've played more hockey than any other, team in the NHL. I just think it takes a little bit of time. Listen, they had a really rough start at the beginning of the season, but I think you just shared with us, TSG, they've won 5 of the last 6. I think you're starting to see some of those things work out, and we'll see what the next couple of weeks looks like.
It's a long season. I'm not concerned one bit.
No, I agree. And I guess with a team like that, they've got the talent to where, they can still win, be a 500 team, say, for example, initially, or maybe a little over a 500 team, and then eventually put it together. get hungry enough, and still come back and whoop you. You know what I mean? It's like they have so much talent. But the hunger thing, I mean, B-Love, with you and in your business, you know, I'm sure you see it all the time. The hungry.
So here's the thing, TSG. It's hard to stay hungry when you're well fed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. And this team is well fed. They're back-to-back Stanley Cup champions.
Yeah. They are.
Right. So I think, I mean, listen, I'm not saying that anybody is like, oh, you know, if we don't win the Stanley Cup, I'll be okay with that. But it's hard to stay hungry when you're well fed.
This is the task of Cooper. This is what he specializes in. Supposedly,
You know?
like psychology.
And I think, you know, this team was wicked hungry when they had the best record in the NHL in 2019 and got bounced in the first round of the playoffs. That team comes back hungry.
Yeah.
Yep. And they did.
Right.
Hey, that brings me to a thought I've been having. I've been meaning to tell you guys, and for whatever reason, I just haven't. So, what you just mentioned right there, B-Love, the Lightning were in the playoffs. They were in the Stanley Cup Finals a year or so before that 0-4 bouncing to the Columbus Blues. You have the Rays that were just in the World Series, and then they get bounced in the first round. I mean, 3-1, but they could have been easily a sweep.
Yeah.
The Lightning came back and won 2 back-to-back Stanley Cup championships after that because of that. I'm seeing a lot of similarities in the Rays as I am with the Lightning as far as the core is there. There was an injury or two that prevented them from getting there this year. They got a taste of it last year against the Dodgers. Could not, get over the hump. You get bounced in the playoffs. Now you see what it looks like. You see the future coming up with Wander Franco. We saw it 2 years ago with Braden Point. The future was bright. We're like, this is it. This kid's got it. They're going to do great things here in the very near future. And they go out and they win a Stanley Cup in a shortened year. I think the Rays are right there too. I was thinking about that a couple of days ago. I'm like, man, so many similarities and likeness.
I think you're right too. Go back to like what I said. It's hard to stay hungry when you're well fed. Here's a Rays team that saw another team celebrate winning a World Series championship against them, and then after having the best record in the American League, get bounced from the playoff. Like nobody expected that.
Yeah, in the first round.
And by the way, I felt like the teams that were in the playoffs were all teams we matched up well against. I didn't go into the playoffs this year afraid. Not until we were down 2-1.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. But I mean, still an exciting time to be a Tampa Bay sports fan.
We get a couple of pitchers. We were just shy a couple of pitchers.
I mean, we ran it at the end of the day. We ran out of pitching at the end of the season. So speaking of, it's great to be a Tampa Bay fan. Right now, it is not great to be a college football fan in the state of Florida.
Oh,
they're all horrible.
Yeah,
all horrible. FSU horrible. Florida got beat by South Carolina badly.
Oh,
right. This is not the same team that had Alabama on the ropes.
Yep.
Right? Miami, horrible. USF, horrible. Who's the best of the worst?
UCF.
In the state of Florida.
Actually,
it might be Jacksonville University. It might be the mighty Dolphins up there, man. I don't know, man.
The mighty Dolphins.
Everyone's looking at their phone like, who's? It's so bad. I don't know.
Hey, so let's talk college football for a second, okay? So, I mean, Georgia wins. Georgia's a really good team. Alabama wins. They come in number 2 again this week. Purdue beats the number 2 team. Still unranked.
And the number 3 team. No, they beat the number 2 team.
Yes.
And the number 3 team.
Yeah.
So they are still unranked.
Still unranked. They're going to have an opportunity to prove themselves this week because in November, football season start. I mean, this is really college football. There's a lot of really good games. Hey, Georgia is going to have their hands full with Tennessee. Tennessee just beat Kentucky. Kentucky was a 6-2 team until yesterday. Alabama's not going to have a hard time with New Mexico. Go ahead.
But to that point, I mean, if you look at the AP top 25 or the BCS top 25, there are teams in that mix with 3 and 4 losses. And I guarantee you, none of them beat the number 2 or the number 3 team in the country at the time. In fact, some of them probably haven't beat a ranked team, and they're in the top 25. How in the world is Purdue on the outside looking in?
Hey, better question. How is Cincinnati still? Cincinnati 9-0, haven't played anybody. They're not going to play anybody this week. They're going up against the mighty USF Bulls, who lost by 50-something, lost 50-something to 40 yesterday. Put it this way, USF only had as many points as they do because they ran not one but two kickoffs back for touchdowns yesterday. So what?
They still scored points. That was good.
Dude. No, I mean, no sustained drives, nothing really working there.
You can score 100 points a game, but if you give up 101, it's a loss.
You're darn right. So I don't know what the answer is. I was Pat or TSG mentioned UCF. I was like, man, I haven't really thought about UCF. I was thinking FAU or North
FIU.
Florida. Either the one in Miami or the one in Boca. But I'm like, man, UCF. And then I looked at UCF. No, they're not. They're not doing very well. It's just bad. And I don't know how this is possible. How do we have annually?
This is a mecca of talent. This is a mecca of talent.
If you look at any of these other rosters, whether it be Alabama, Georgia, North Carolina, USCLA, they have Florida players because that's where the best players are in the world. And for whatever reason, they're not putting it together at the Florida universities. So sad.
I don't know. Does Dan Mullen keep his job, by the way, at Florida?
Well, I mean, here's part of the problem is the portal, the transfer portal. You go out.
That is a big deal.
It's a huge deal. You go out, you recruit, you spend all this money, your energy, and you bring these kids in, okay, and then they get spun up and then they transfer out. I mean, you are being an elite college coach right now. I mean, has got to be brutal because not only do you have to recruit the kids, but then you have to continually recruit them.
You've got to keep them.
And you're continually trying to keep kids, in your program.
I think that's when you got blue chip players who legit feel like they could have a shot to play on Sundays. If it's especially like if it's a quarterback and there's a guy ahead of them and they can go to another school and start next season, that's when they hit the transfer portal. Right.
Well, I think that's what's going on at Florida right now. Florida's running two quarterbacks. And like I said, with the Saints, you can't get into a rhythm when you're in for a series and then you're out for a series. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah, but why is it? So what's the answer for Florida State? What's the answer for Miami? What's the answer for UCLA? I mean, these are all traditional. I mean, Miami, we're not, well, it's been a little bit, I guess, 20 years now since they were a dynasty. And it's been a while.
It's been a while.
Florida State was recently a dynasty with Jameis Winston. I mean, they were always contending for the national title. Where's that happening? It's just, I mean, yeah, sure. Florida may have the two quarterback thing and they may have had some people transfer, but there's other schools here. That's the weird part.
Yeah.
And I don't think this NIL name, image, and likeness stuff is going to help this at all. That is going to be a money magnet for wherever they want to go.
Well, yeah, I think, now you get boosters involved, right? And boosters are like, hey, I own a Mercedes dealership. We're going to give you a Maybach and put you on payroll. Yep. And now you're playing for the Fresno State Corn Dogs.
Yep. And we're gonna put a couple of pictures up on the billboard, and make sure you stay happy and as long as you keep starting for the Alabama Crimson Tide, you'll be fine.
It's gonna break things up. You know what, guys? And it might be a good thing. It might be a good thing for the whole league because
I hope so, but I think it's going to be the exact opposite.
They'll break things up. What?
Well, I think you've already seen that.
I think it's bad for college football, but what I mean is I think that it's going to be it might break up everything where there's going to be a whole change up in what teams have traditionally been good, bad. It's going to be how these coaches are able to interact with this new policy, this new way of working.
So I think we've seen some challenges with college basketball, in my opinion, because of some similar rule changes. Like, college basketball now has the one and done rule, right? To enter the NBA, you have to either be a certain age or have played at least 1 year of either overseas basketball or college. And so you're seeing a lot of the top talent in basketball go only play 1 year. Well, it's hard to build a program on players that are only going to be there for one season. And by the way, these NBA players are signing second round deals that are in the second rounders, not first rounders, second rounders. You're not even going to play, and you're making millions of dollars.
Ask Coach K.
It's hard for Coach. It's hard for Coach K. Historically, has had the highest percentage of graduates.
Yep.
In college basketball at Duke, and he can't recruit like that anymore, or they're not going to win.
Yep.
So I just think that whole recruiting thing and the trend, all of that stuff is changing the scape of college sports as well.
You have to be an expert at getting guys to buy in quickly, and you've got to have a routine, a plan that you are able to implement, and it takes action fast every year. Every year.
I believe the rule with college baseball is if you get drafted and you choose, like let's say you get drafted out of high school and you choose to not sign and you go to college, that you have to play there 2 years before you're eligible for the next draft. I believe is how that works.
Yeah, it's something like that.
So, I mean, it's just, it's crazy how they're all different and how much of an impact it has on these schools and universities.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, we only have a couple of minutes left, and we can't do a show without doing You Can't Fix Stupid. So let's run that clip.
Get to it. Got the standby.
All right, Pooh Bear, I believe you have this week's You Can't Fix Stupid, and I want to implore you. You don't have it? Who had it?
Chief's got it.
The Chief has it. Okay, good. Then time is on my side because he knows that Yellowstone is on in 2.5 minutes.
Yes.
Look, I mean, I don't know what's going on in the Ivy League schools, but apparently this is what's happening behind the doors. Dartmouth College has created a 9-foot tall version of the Atari 2600 joystick. This is a joystick that we all, except for TSG, grew up with playing. We're talking about a single joystick, a single stick with one button on that thing right there.
I'm older than me, love.
Okay, then you know what I'm talking about then. Listen, this is 9 foot tall. First of all, it's impractical. It takes at least minimum 2 people to operate this thing. Why? None of the games that this thing is applicable to are even played today. Nobody is playing Space Invaders or like Pac-Man. No one's playing those games anymore. Frogger. Hey, Frogger was a great game, man.
Dude, what about Pitfall? Do you remember Pitfall?
Donkey Kong.
Oh yeah,
Pitfall was terrible.
Oh, I love Pitfall.
But I mean, I have no idea how much money they had invested in this, but I'd be willing to bet it was a lot.
So you would be surprised actually to know how many people actually do play those old games. There is an entire subculture of retro video game playing happening, and it's very collectible. Very.
You think they want to play it on a 9 foot tall joystick?
Well, that's perfect size for me. I don't know about you.
What about how about speaking of old school games? I had an Intellivision. Does anybody remember Intellivision?
Yeah, didn't that have the dial?
Nope, it had Burger Time. You remember Burger Time?
Oh, I love Burger Time.
Never.
No.
Burger Time. We had some Burger Time today too.
So is this an art piece of some sort?
I mean, it's supposed to be functional, but yeah, they're advertising it as an art piece. But I mean, it's functional art. They got people playing with it, and like I said, it's a minimum of 2 person. I mean, can you imagine the fights that this is going to start? You're like, you didn't shoot fast enough. I want to go right. I want to go left. I mean, it's just not going to work, man.
Well, just the fact that art nowadays that this could justify as being art. You could put a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in a mason jar and call it Ohio, and that's art. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just so dumb. It's so dumb.
It is really weird how art is what value is determined. It's just a whole. I mean, you could talk about it for a long time. It's really wacko. The guy with the bazillions of dollars decides what is art and what is eclectic.
Right.
And,
well, yeah, the value is in the purchaser.
And a lot of those people are just weird.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel that my point to this story is that this is where we decided to invest our resources, our time, our energy. And we decided this is where we decided as an Ivy League school we're gonna go ahead and create a 9-foot tall Atari joystick. I mean, that just seems like a complete waste to me.
Yeah.
Forget about finding a cure for COVID or cancer or solving global warming. Let's build joysticks that can't be used.
There you go.
China's looking at us like, oh God, we got these guys in 2 years.
We're gonna take them easy.
Yeah, no problem. Take
Sorry,
their
the Russians are probably building one that's 12-foot tall just to outdo us, though.
Yeah, that's true. The whole plan was just to get them to waste money, which we've done.
To waste more money.
They're playing tanks with real tanks.
Yeah, the Cold War.
Oh, look at this. B-Love's got to go. It's time for
Yellowstone,
starring Kevin Costner on the Paramount
2-hour
Plus
special.
Network.
Rip.
This episode has been brought to you by Paramount Plus.
Yeah. Hey, who's your favorite character?
Rip.
Rip,
all
baby.
Say Rip.
Oh, it's always Rip.
They're
Yeah.
all going to say Rip.
Dude,
All right, so we will be back next week live for your pleasure at 7 o'clock. If you like this kind of content, go ahead and subscribe. Make sure you like this video, like all the other videos. Go see The GOAT. It's the best video out there right now. Guaranteed you will laugh your butt off for 6 minutes.
I can show my face.
All right, until then, we'll see you next week. Go Bucs.
Love.
Good night, Chief.
We got the GOAT.
Good night.
We got the